Shadowlands is, I'd say, probably the most mysterious expansion that we've had thus far, and it is incredibly potent when it comes to speculations, as most of the concepts are brand new and we don't know much about them, who the first ones are, what the Shadowlands even are. Because of this, various speculations have arisen and some are quite crazy yet make a lot of sense. So let's take a look at some over-the-top speculations that might actually be true. Before we start with the video, if you ever wanted to make your own videos, let me show you a really great tool. The thing about video editing is that it can be pretty daunting if you've never done it. However, software like our today's sponsor, Wondershell Filmora, has made all that trouble go away. I've used various editing softwares, but Filmora might just be the best option out there for beginners because you can literally just jump in and start immediately. Check it out, just import the file, drag and drop, move it around, transition, and you can even get a green screen down in mere seconds. Filmora recently even added a new tool, silence detection, meaning you can remove dead air from the video automatically. You don't even have to cut it out yourself. You can try out Filmora completely free, albeit with a watermark, but the software is incredibly affordable. You can just get it with a single purchase. However, here is a great deal. Leave a comment on why you want Filmora and I will pick 3 lucky winners and you'll get a free account to try out the software. So check out the link in the description below. Number 5. Jailer is the Arbiter. This is probably one of the oldest theories that started on since we got the early information about the Shadowlands, but as it is 9.1 any moment now, it hasn't really been disproven in any way, shape or form. So this is one of the speculation theories where it isn't some crazy conspiracy, but just connecting a few quite obvious dots. So as you have seen the Jailer about a dozen times by now in game, it seems obvious that he has a hole in his chest that is empty. At the same time, the Arbiter, which was disabled some time ago, has the hole in the exact same space in the chest, but it is actually filled with some sort of an orb or a heart. So you can obviously see how it wasn't hard for people to make the connection between the two. Is the Jailer and the Arbiter one being, or are they somehow connected? A few key concepts come to mind. First of all, we have seen souls being split in two, such as Uther, even before we ventured into the Shadowlands. The Eternal Ones say that Zobal had betrayed them, so it is likely that long ago, his role was quite different, and this leads us into thinking that the Jailer could in fact be the Arbiter and that he was split in two, with one part of him being the Construct and Ouroboros. This also makes sense as to why Primus said that the Jailer must not reach the Arbiter, as that would be the ultimate end, meaning that he might get back to his true form by reuniting the two halves. Now, an additional theory is that the Jailer was the original Arbiter, and that when he was imprisoned, his heart was taken out that gave him most of his power, and then it was installed in the Arbiter that we have seen, which seems really like an artificial being. And if the Jailer reached Ouroboros, he would reclaim his own heart and he would be able to get back to his full and true form. Honestly, this explanation seems a bit more likely. Now, lastly, another bit of evidence is the original concept art of the Jailer. When Jailer was first introduced, he was this bearded being in armor, and the current version we're seeing is nothing like him. This has led us to thinking that maybe that original concept art isn't scrapped, but it is his full form, the full form of the Jailer once he reclaims the current Arbiter. Number 4. Maldrexus is alive. So, living zones are not really a new thing in the Warcraft lore. You remember Mists of Pandaria, how we had literally a mini Pandaren civilization living on the back of a gigantic turtle? Well, a few hints, as well as a grey item flavor text, revealed some crazy possible speculations that the Maldrexus could in fact be a thing. First of all, you literally have world quests to pluck out strands of hair from the ground that are seemingly growing all the time. There are parts referred to as wards, and literally every single building is made out of bones in various shapes and forms. Second, the largest bit of evidence by far supporting this theory is a grey needle item that says that it was scarred from the very bones of the Maldrexus. Keyword being here, the Maldrexus. Obviously, you wouldn't refer to a zone as the. For example, you wouldn't say built from the rocks of the Durotar. This the could be a gigantic plot twist in the future that could change the Shadowlands. Blizzard, even indirectly on Twitter, said that this isn't really a spelling mistake and that there is something behind it, but at the time of this video, not much was really said. Now, what could this be? No one knows, and it is incredibly hard to speculate. We've seen the inhabitants of Maldrexus take creatures from all across the universe, from dragons to pit lords and elementals, so it wouldn't be surprising if they also abducted some gigantic creature and just decided to use it as a zone. Maybe it could be some type of an old god, a void being, or even a fallen first one. No one really knows at this point. Additionally, seeing that the hair is growing and that the entire zone is about undeath, the creature itself could be alive or in a state of undeath, which might have huge implications for the lore. Possibly, as the Primus is missing the leader of Maldrexus, there won't be anyone to control it, and the Maldrexus might decide to side with the Jailer, as the current order wasn't really treating it so nicely. Number 3. Titans ordered Shadowlands. When you really explore the Shadowlands, examine it closer and look behind the covers, you realize that in fact it is a really weird place. Shadowlands seems ordered, and I'd say ordered by force. This is confirmed by the Natris and the Jailer, who say they want to go back to the original state of things, the Death Force, and the speculation is that the original state of things is in fact chaos. The cosmology chart from the Chronicle book might just be the evidence here. Life is quite ordered, and it is nestled between the light and order itself, while death is exactly the opposite. Death, as a force, is lodged just between disorder and the void, which are quite obviously chaotic. If the Jailer is the representative of the original state of the Shadowlands, then this is even further proof, as the Maw is literally chaos itself. However, Shadowlands, aside from the Maw, is not actually chaotic at all. Instead, the entire afterlife is so ordered that it actually raises suspicion. You got these strict realms that each serve a purpose, such as Revendreth or Bastion, and in the middle of everything you have Oribos with this robotic arbiter that looks like a computer that in a split second analyzes a soul and sends them towards their purpose. Oribos is even a story for itself. The entire city literally looks like a Titan city with these constructs guarding it and these beings following their purpose. If that is not relevant to order, then I really don't know what is. Now, we know that the first ones are heavily involved in the Shadowlands, as is obvious by them creating the certain realms and having their own artifacts, and the first ones are said to have created all the other pantheons, among them the Titans as well. However, my speculation is that the first ones are actually closely tied to the Titans and are related to order. As the Jailer is imprisoned, it is likely that death as a cosmological force was conquered long ago and order was enforced. Seriously, it is exactly what the Titans would do. Remember when they invaded Azeroth? They created bases, constructs, imprisoned the old gods and then left? Well, in the Shadowlands, they might have done the same thing. They defeated the Jailer and other chaotic forces, imprisoned them, created these constructs and realms, and then just left. This might exactly be this problem of free will that Sylvanas has been talking about all this time. Maybe, as a result of this Titan order, now every soul has to serve a purpose in order to become a cog in the Shadowlands machinery, and as the Titans seeded most of life on all the other planets, it wouldn't be crazy to say that they purposefully tied into the Shadowlands to also serve a purpose in the afterlife, even though they also serve a purpose in life. I'd say this theory is quite likely, if not in its entirety, then definitely partially. Number 2. Primus. As opposed to these singular speculation theories, this is many speculations in one involving the Primus. Very quick recap. Primus is the leader of Maldrexus, an Eternal One, a Master Smith, and one of the most powerful warlords in the entire universe. See, Primus is the leader of the War Realm of Maldrexus, and he is said to be one of the wisest beings ever. The main reason was because he had the ability to revert back time and to observe a singular battle many times in order to see every possible outcome, which granted him an edge unlike no other. Now, he anticipated his disappearance as well, so he left messages for us mortals as he attempted to stop the Jailer, but ultimately he had gone missing, so that is his official status. Now, the most obvious and popular speculation theory is that Primus is in fact the Runecarver, the guy building the legendaries in Torghast. Many things hint at this, from the almost exact same armor to the fact that he was a master smith before Torghast and that he created rune blades even in the past. Now, the only counter evidence against this is the different amount of fingers on the statue of Maldrexus and the Runecarver, but other than that, it is one of the strongest speculation theories that we currently have. We know that the Jailer wiped out his memories and used him to extract all secrets of war, but there is also speculation theory that, as Primus is ever wise, he wiped out as much of his memories as possible prior to his capture so that the Jailer can't extract anything. Now, another interesting speculation which ties in with the Titans is that he might actually be related to them. It is said that at an unknown point in time, he sought the help of an unknown ally, which allowed him to see infinite timelines, which actually granted him most of his power and wisdom. And who in the universe is on the same level as him and has power over time? Aman'Tol, the same Titan that granted Nosdormu his powers over alternate realities. This additionally ties in with the corporation of the Titans and the Eternal Ones and how they're related. Now, an even more interesting theory about the Primus is that he might have been with us in that rune blade that we had discovered in Maldrexus, as it won't really be unprecedented. We've seen the Eternal One and Atreus remaining inside the blade, so it could be a possibility that he was in that sword following our every step. Primus, due to him missing, is one of the main focus points for speculations, and while some of these theories are related and some are not, they definitely seem highly likely. Number 1. Elune is a first one. Elune has been a mystery pretty much since Warcraft 3. She was always this potent force, yet we never knew what she was, and we don't even know now, nearly 20 years later. We believed she was the Naru, we believed she was the moon itself or even a Void Lord, but recently some hints have led us in a bit of a different direction. We know that it was Elune that saved Ysera from the Nightmare in Legion and sent her to Ardenweald, where the Winter Queen resurrected her, saying that Ysera is her sister's pet. This, of course, brought on an avalanche of speculations about how Elune is the sister, but my opinion is that it is actually the Titan Eonar, the Lifebinder, as she's the one that empowered the dragon aspect. However, there is another bit of proof that really emphasizes Elune. Elune seems to have dabbled in almost every magic in the universe outside of maybe Fel magic, and we have seen her power both used for destruction and healing. However, recently, Tyrande embodied her dark side, the Night Warrior, which is more than just a simple empowerment. It is literally a dark form that very few in the universe could bear to embody. Now, in Ardenweald, we learned that Tyrande wasn't the first Night Warrior, and that in fact, there were other Night Warriors across the cosmos. A race on a different planet used Elune's power in order to defeat an overwhelming old god army. This in itself is a crucial bit of evidence, as it shows that Elune isn't just a wild god or some local power on Azeroth, but an entity worshipped far across the cosmos. This all led us to speculation that Elune is actually a first one. Blizzard confirmed that the first ones are the creators of the universe, and some hints make sense. First off, how potent her power is, how she's able to utilize almost every magic of the cosmology chart, and how she even has access to the Shadowlands. If we go by the theory that Eonar and the Winter Queen are sisters, it is entirely possible that Elune could be the mother and the creator of both the Shadowlands and the Titans. Thank you for watching. Check out the top 10 characters we're yet to see in Shadowlands by clicking on the screen, and also check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos on real world history and science. See you next time.